Hey everyone. So I just wanted to go over a few problems before you take your quiz today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over one of the application problems from the work that you had to do on Friday. I'm doing number 3 about the college business office and the admissions counselors. And then I'm going to go over one example that goes through finding all of the key features from standard form. And that's what your quiz is on today. This first one, number 3, again, this is from the applications that you guys did on Friday. So basically, the applications that we did, there was always some sort of maximum on the graph, whether it be maximum profit. In this case, maximize, this one's profit. Some of them might be like a maximizing height in time, and this one has to do with counselors and profit. So you're given the equation right here to use. This question is asking how many admissions counselors should the college employ to maximize its profit? So notice that number of counselors is X and profit is Y. So that means right here, remember the vertex is always where the maximum is. And so the X coordinate of the vertex would be counselors and the Y coordinate of the vertex would be profit. Because remember, every vertex has an X and a Y. So this letter A is asking how many admission counselors, so X. So this is the X coordinate of the vertex. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do negative B over 2A. In order to do that, you have to identify A, B, and C first. So A is negative 10. Well, really, we just need A and B because C is the y-intercept and B is 1500. So it's going to be negative B, so negative 1500 over 2 times A, which is negative 10. So this is negative 1500 over negative 20. And if you divide that, you end up getting 75 counselors. So that's how many counselors they would employ to reach a maximum profit. And so then part B is asking, well, what is the maximum profit? So basically we want to know if 75 is the number of counselors to give us the maximum profit, how much will they make if they employ 75 counselors? So what you're going to do is you're going to take 75 and you're going to plug it in for X here and here. So we're going to have Y equals negative 10 and then 75 squared plus 1500 times 75 minus 35,000. So you're going to do exponents first. So we're going to do 75 squared. 75 times 75. So this is negative 10 and then 5625. I'm just going to rewrite everything else. 1500 times 75 minus 35,000. Okay, so then you're going to multiply everything. So negative 10 times 5625 is negative 56,250. And then 1500 times 75 is 112,500. Next, you're going to subtract left to right. So this ends up being 56,250 minus 35,000 for a final profit of 21,250. So I guess the numbers are big, but you can use a calculator. So this is max profit. Okay, and the last question is asking, estimate when the college would make no profit. So sometimes some of the height ones ask you to identify when there'd be no, when it would reach the ground. So that's like when there's no height. This one's no profit. So basically, there's nothing that we do algebraically. We just look at the graph and we estimate it. So I just wrote over my numbers here. Okay, so let's see if this is 50. I'd say that's about 30, right? And then this one I would say is about 120. So I think on yours, I know when I printed mine, the little boxes didn't really come out. So if you didn't get 30 and 120, that's okay. So there's no profit at 30 counselors. And at 120 counselors. And again, that was when the graph hit the x-axis. So that's an application problem. We still do the same things. If it's maximum height, you're still doing negative b over 2a to find how long it takes to get to the maximum height, and then you plug it in to see what the actual maximum height is. Okay, so here is an example where we're going to do all the key features given standard form. Remember, just for a quick review, this is standard form. To find the axis of symmetry, it's x equals negative b over 2a. So the first thing you always want to do is identify your a, b, and c. So for this particular one, a is going to be negative 1. B is going to be negative 6. And then c is 4. You have to include the negatives if they're negative. So the first thing we were asked to do is find the axis of symmetry. So again, that's negative b over 2a, and it's x equals, so negative b, negative 6. So remember, if your b is negative, you do have to put both of those negatives. And then 2 times a. Remember that negative 6 does become a positive, so that's positive 6 over negative 2, which ends up being x equals negative 3. So that's the equation of the axis of symmetry. You do have to write x equals the number because it's an equation. So just remember that. To find the vertex, since we just found the axis of symmetry with x equals negative 3, that means the x coordinate of the vertex is negative 3. And then we have to just find the y coordinate. So to do that, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to take negative 3 and we're going to plug it in for x. We're going to plug it in here and here for x. So we're going to have y equals negative 3 squared minus 6 times negative 3. Okay, this one has a lot of negatives, plus 4. So now I'm going to do exponents first. So negative 3 squared is 9, positive 9. So this is positive 9. But then there's this negative out in the front. So it does still end up being negative 9. And then negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. And so now we have negative 9 plus 18 is 9, plus 4 is 13. So that means the vertex is negative 3, 13. Okay, next identify the y-intercept. So if you take a look up here, let me erase some of this. Remember that the y-intercept is your c. So see how our c is 4 here? So that means your y-intercept is 4. So it's 0c is how we write the y-intercept, which in this case is 0, 4. Next question, does it open up or down? So does it open up or down? That question comes from the sign of a. A is negative 1 here. So when a is negative, that means that it opens down because a is negative. Okay, and then the last thing is identifying the correct graph. So I give you 4 options here. Again, this is how it is on your quiz as well. Remember that you can use the fact that it opens up versus down and also the y-intercept to help you. So ours opens down because a is negative and the y-intercept is 0, 4. So the fact that it opens down, that would eliminate anything that opens up. Get it good here. So it's not option 2 because that opens up. It's not option 3 because that opens up. Okay. Notice though that this one did have 4 as a y-intercept. And so did this one. Also had 4 as a y-intercept. So don't just go by the y-intercept and pick the first one that you see. Actually, I forgot. I made all 4 of these all have the same y-intercept. See how this one has a y-intercept of 4 and this one has a y-intercept of 4. So you can't always just use the y-intercept to help you. So now we eliminated 2 and 3 because they open up. So now we need to figure out which one works by looking at the vertex. So let's go back up. Whoops. Oh dear. So let's go back up to see what the vertex was. What was the vertex that we found? -3, 13. So let's go back. This one looks like it's at about, I don't know, -1.75 something, like about 6. I don't know, a little more than that, which is not -3, 13. So that eliminates this one. So it looks like this one is the winner. Let's see, we have our y-intercept at 4. Sorry, this is so blurry. We have our vertex at -3, 13. We have our axis of symmetry at -13. It opens down. So all the things that we just found up here are going to help us identify the graph. So it did end up being option 1 for the graph. That is the winner. So I went over one of everything that's on the quiz. Hopefully this is helpful. I will post this filled in on Classroom as well. If you have any questions, please let us know.